For generations, the United States-Canada border was more than just a line on a map. It was a living symbol of friendship, trust, and shared history. This boundary, stretching thousands of miles, quietly wove together two nations, allowing people to move freely, to build lives that straddled both sides, and to celebrate a unique bond that was the envy of the world. People called it the world's longest undefended border, a place where families, communities, and businesses moved with ease. It was a border defined not by walls or fences, but by handshakes, shared festivals, and the laughter of children who grew up with one foot in each country. Crossing from Vermont to Quebec was once as simple as walking across the street or even waving to a neighbor from your front porch. The border was a part of daily life, not an obstacle. The open border fueled economic growth and cultural exchange, making life along the 49th parallel uniquely interconnected. Businesses thrived, friendships blossomed, and communities flourished in the spirit of cooperation. The Peace Arch, inscribed with "May these gates never be closed," embodied this spirit. It stood as a testament to the hope that peace and openness would always define this border. But that spirit is fading. Caution, suspicion, and bureaucracy are slowly replacing the openness that once defined this place. The border is no longer just a line, it's becoming a barrier. Now a simple weekend trip requires careful planning, paperwork, and a sense of anxiety that never used to exist. The spontaneity of cross-border life is slipping away. The border's easy flow is being choked by new policies, diplomatic friction, and even natural disasters. Each new rule, each new restriction chips away at the trust that once defined this place. This didn't happen overnight. It was a slow, creeping change, almost invisible at first. Year by year, the border became less open, less welcoming, and more uncertain. A series of isolated decisions, each seemingly small, have converged into a perfect storm of disruption. The cumulative effect has been profound, altering the rhythm of life along the border. What was once a symbol of unity is fast becoming a portrait of division. The border that brought people together now threatens to keep them apart. People on both sides now wonder, can the world's greatest friendship withstand this strain? Will the ties that bind these communities survive the pressures of politics and fear? The gates may not be closed, but they're certainly narrowing. The future of this remarkable friendship now hangs in the balance, as both nations face the challenge of preserving what made their border so extraordinary. The shift began in Washington, when the Trump administration enacted a sweeping travel ban in June 2025. The policy, part of an America First agenda, was rolled out with little consultation, leaving Canada scrambling. In response, Canada issued travel advisories, warning citizens of unpredictable border experiences. Tariffs followed, with new economic barriers and inflammatory rhetoric straining relations further. Trusted traveler programs like Nexus are now hampered by suspicion and red tape. The border is no longer a predictable, welcoming place, it's a zone of uncertainty. Political posturing and mutual distrust have replaced decades of quiet cooperation. Even new technologies can't mask the reality. The welcome mat has been pulled away. The world's longest undefended border is now fortified by rules, not walls. The 2025 travel ban targets nationals from 12 countries, mostly in Africa and the Middle East, and imposes severe visa restrictions on 7 others. Officially justified as a security measure, critics say it's discriminatory and chaotic in practice. Canadians with ties to targeted countries now face intense scrutiny or denial at the border, regardless of citizenship. The result? Fear, confusion, and a chilling effect on travel for work, family, or leisure. Human rights groups warn the policy fuels xenophobia and undermines Western values. Legal challenges are mounting, but for many the damage is already done. The border has become a barrier of suspicion, transforming America's image from welcoming to wary. Canada's response has been swift, moving from government warnings to grassroots action. The Girl Guides of Canada suspended all trips to the U.S., citing safety and inclusivity concerns. School boards followed, canceling cross-border trips and choosing domestic destinations. This institutional shift sparked the #Stay in Canada movement, with Canadians pledging to spend holidays and money at home. It's more than a tourism campaign. It's a statement of national pride and economic pushback. Families are exploring Muskoka instead of Florida, Quebec City instead of New York. Domestic tourism is booming, supporting local businesses and reshaping travel patterns. Canadians are insulating themselves from U.S. volatility and reaffirming their identity. Policy has forged a stronger sense of unity in the face of external pressure. As border tensions rise, Canada faces its own crisis. Wildfires have triggered sweeping internal travel bans. Hiking, camping, and fishing are off limits in many eastern provinces, complicating even domestic holidays. The dream of exploring Canada is now challenged by environmental emergencies and sudden closures. The sense of freedom that defines Canadian identity is constrained by necessity. Most accept the restrictions to protect lives and forests, but the paradox is clear. Travel is discouraged both abroad and at home. The Miller family from Montana, for example, found their Alaska highway trip disrupted by both border scrutiny and wildfire detours. These overlapping crises show how quickly barriers, political and natural, can shrink our world. Canadians now face logistical nightmares with obstacles at every turn. The real cost of new barriers is measured not just in policies or politics, but in disrupted lives and broken traditions that ripple through generations. Every new restriction, every additional checkpoint creates a ripple effect that touches families in ways that are often invisible to those making the rules. The Tremble's family from Quebec, for example, canceled their cherished annual Vermont cottage trip, a tradition spanning decades, because they feared border humiliation for their Iranian-born matriarch. The cottage sits empty, memories paused, as uncertainty overshadows what was once a joyful ritual. The Miller family from Montana faced suspicion at the Canadian border and wildfire detours, turning what should have been a dream trip into a stressful ordeal. Their children, once excited for adventure, now associate travel with anxiety and fear. These stories are echoed by thousands. Grandparents missing reunions, couples rethinking futures, students skipping conferences, and friends separated by invisible lines. The sense of loss is shared, even if the circumstances differ. Each canceled trip is a fraying thread in the cross-border tapestry, unraveling connections that took years to build. The simple act of visiting loved ones now feels like a distant privilege. The border, once a bridge between neighbors and friends, is now a chasm of uncertainty and doubt. What was once a line easily crossed has become a symbol of separation. The human toll is profound: missed moments, broken connections, and growing alienation. Birthdays, anniversaries, and milestones are now marked by screens and longing rather than hugs and laughter. Policy decisions made far away, in government offices and boardrooms, are felt most deeply in the everyday lives of ordinary people. The consequences are personal, not abstract. The world's greatest friendship, once defined by openness and ease, is now overshadowed by anxiety and hesitation. The border is no longer just a line on a map, it's a barrier in the heart. The cost isn't just economic, it's deeply personal and emotional. Families are left with memories instead of moments, and hope is replaced by uncertainty. The border's invisible walls are separating families and friends, leaving scars that may take generations to heal. The economic fallout is immediate and severe, especially for U.S. border towns. Cross-border car trips from Canada have dropped by a third. Air travel is down by a fifth. Businesses in towns like Plattsburgh and Bellingham are struggling as Canadian customers vanish. Restaurants, shops, and hotels face existential threats. Tariffs and new regulations disrupt supply chains, adding costs and delays. The once seamless economic partnership is unraveling, making North American industries less competitive. The #Stay in Canada movement boosts domestic tourism, but overall both nations lose. Economic ties once fostered cultural exchange and personal relationships. As those links weaken, so does shared understanding. The economic tremors warn of a deeper, more troubling separation. In late summer 2025, the US-Canada relationship feels more fragile than ever. What was once a seamless border symbolizing decades of trust and cooperation, now stands as a visible reminder of growing uncertainty and division. Restrictive policies and trade disputes have created a deep rift between two nations that once saw themselves as family. The easy flow of people and goods has slowed, replaced by suspicion and bureaucracy. Everyday life for border communities has changed as neighbors who once visited freely now face delays and questions. The Peace Arch's promise, children of a common mother, now feels like a relic from a more optimistic era. Its silent presence is a stark contrast to the tension that lingers in the air. Young Canadians are missing out on cross-border experiences that once built understanding and broke down stereotypes. School trips, sports tournaments, and family visits have become rare, depriving a new generation of the chance to connect with their neighbors. The absence of these exchanges risks a generation that sees its neighbor as a source of friction, not friendship. Without shared memories and personal connections, misunderstandings and mistrust can easily take root. The partnership that anchored North America is eroding, sending a troubling signal to the world. Allies and rivals alike are watching, questioning whether the continent's unity can withstand these challenges. Restoring trust will take more than policy changes. It will require deliberate effort, honest dialogue, and a return to the shared values that once defined this relationship. Communities on both sides must find new ways to reconnect and rebuild what's been lost. The gates aren't closed forever, but reopening them fully will be a monumental task, one that demands patience, empathy, and a renewed commitment to a common future.